are you, Truls?
I'm good. How are you?
Everything is good. Well, at least for now it's sunny, but we are expecting heavy rain and wind, so
Oh shit. Okay.
Portugal is not what it used to be.
Oh, okay. I remember we played Sonic Blast. I don't know when I was. One of the worst weathers I've ever festival.
Yeah, like this year, I mean, I don't mind the rain, but it's been like 3 weeks
Hmm.
almost of rain. So, I mean, we need it anyway. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. And, let's speak about Graveyard. Obviously, that's why we're here. You guys are going to do a tour very soon. You're playing Portugal on April 26th. What can we expect from the shows?
Well, you can expect like here in Graveyard. I think where we're touring a lot. Like we did all of November with Baroness throughout Europe, and I think we really hit like some sort of found a new spark during that tour, and it's been really great playing live lately. Like we went to South America a couple of weeks ago, and it really works. Like we're having fun on stage, so you'll catch us on the top of our game for sure.
Yeah, and you're going to focus a lot on the album six, the song wise.
Yeah, we always mix. We always play a lot from Hissing and Blues because those songs are just so like in our DNA. And we do a lot of songs from all our records, basically. Not always off the first album, but there's going to be a focus on the new album, and then there's going to be a mix from all the other old albums. So I think you get to hear all the songs that you like.
And probably some of fans will complain that you didn't play their favorite anyway.
Yeah, there's always that. There's a few songs like we have this like sort of a few like ballads, almost like rock ballads that people love, and we just can't play them all because that would be like sort of a slow set, a little too slow set if we put all those in there, like all those like, yeah, the slow motion countdowns
Yeah.
and the hard times loving and all those songs. That would be like a sleepy evening.
I can always do like a special acoustic set or something like that one day,
Yeah. Mhm.
do something like that. And, speaking of Six, was released in 2023, September. Looking back now at the record, how do you see it? Is there, I know sometimes it's a silly question to ask, but looking at the record after it's released, is there things that you would like to change on the songs, or it's just a matter of you're happy enough with them, you have to let go, and that's it?
I'm happy with the songs, and I'm happy with how they came out. But I'm also really excited to get on with a new record, because I think that record is perfect as it is. It's a product of that time and where we were mentally, like, and spiritually in 2021 or something. 2021. It was kind of it took us a while to record the album. And it's a bit like introverted or introspective in a way. That era, you could say, kind of forced upon you. You had to deal with all that silence and that slow pace of having no shows and like no certain future or whatever. So I like it how it is, but I'm also excited to make an album that is more reflective of where we are right now, which is it's an equally uncertain future ahead of us, but it's a faster pace, and there's I think there's a certain, like, at this point you have to feel like music is an important way to something to hold on to when it's like the whole world is like so chaotic. So it feels more important than ever to just do your best and put something out there that's just gonna perhaps like change the mentality of the people hearing it for the better.
Yeah. And, sometimes it's important even for yourselves as musicians, just probably get away from all that noise that we have at the moment, with politics and stuff, and just focus on something that makes you happy. Otherwise we'll go in that rabbit hole that we cannot get out of.
Yeah.
If you focus so much on politics, it's crazy how stuff is at the moment. Anyway, so are you guys already thinking of new songs? Are you guys working on it?
Sort of in some kind of pre-production phase where we're recording new songs at our rehearsal space. Just to try to get an idea of where we're going, and because like I said earlier, the six took us a long time to record because we went into the studio thinking that we could wing it or come up with a lot of ideas in the studio, but it's harder than we thought. So this time around, I think our focus is on being super well prepared before we even book the studio, so we have so that's where we're at right now, just trying to be very thorough in our pre-production.
Yeah. Obviously, when COVID hit, musicians had to adapt and write, in different ways because a lot of them could not be together. In your case, now you guys get together and work on the songs together, or you adapted the model of each one recording ideas at home and then share with everyone?
No, we try to meet up, as much as we can. But we all have kids, so it's you have to work a little bit around life, as it looks at the moment, which is, it's not like it used to be, you could hang out at the rehearsal space the whole day and just do nothing until an idea certainly pops up at midnight or something, So we have to be more structured, trying to plan out a little bit more, but I think it's great. It's working.
Yeah. Do your kids are fans of the music you make?
Mine is too young, really. I'm not sure. I think sometimes, kids who have parents that go away on tour, they're connecting the music to this thing that makes the parent leave, which for one age maybe kind of a sad thing, so that they don't like that, they don't like the music because that's what makes dad or mom leave for 2 or 3. But I think I have this I hope that my son, when he grows up a little bit, that he will think it's cool what I'm doing,
Yeah. And then you guys there in Sweden and Nordic countries, you do have a musical culture anyway. There's a lot of bands, a lot of musicians, coming out. So I think it's almost natural for, a kid to follow the music path. At least for me, there's so many bands in Sweden.
Yeah, it's pretty common for kids around early teens to at least try. They get the opportunities to try to be in a band, through school or something. That age, you can always everything else, they're trying to cut down on it now. But when I grew up, you could, as a teen, you could find a place to rehearse if you needed it. You could just ask your teachers, and they will set it up for you, and you can borrow guitars. And so a lot of kids try it out, and some of them get stuck. Yeah.
And for you, how did you start, in the music? Was always the bass that to draw your attention, or you had other instruments before?
I started out playing guitar and switched over to bass about 10 years ago or something like that. But I still play guitar. It's just when we're in graveyard, I play bass, but so I play a little bit of everything. When I was young, I just tried to, I've never had a music teacher, but I've always thought I could make music on any kind of instruments, and so I taught myself a little bit of everything. but
Yeah.
a cup of brandy, you know. They more than anything, I see myself as like I like to work in a studio environment. To like that's really my main focus. Like that, try to create songs, and you know, the bass is like a really interesting instrument when you write music and when you produce music, because it's so fundamental, and it's like the more you work with the production, the more you have to like rely on the bass to like keep it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah. And, your bass playing approach, normally you play, obviously in music, the bass can be played in very different ways. Do you normally like, you play according to the drum sound, or you go more with the guitar melodies kind of stuff, or you like to mix both?
Oh, it's a mix. It's like I feel like the bass is sort of the interpreter, you know, between the drummers and the guitarists. They without the bass, they are like little satellites floating in space, and then the bass comes in, and they just, you know, they can talk to each other.
Yeah. I like, I'm a big fan of bass sound, more in the, stuff like Deep Purple or the prog bands where, normally the bass does his own thing in a way,
Yeah.
always structured, but still, he has its own sound. I hate when I'm listening to a record and I cannot distinguish the bass sound. It's horrible. I'm like, am I getting deaf, or is this mix just horrible because I cannot hear the bass?
Well, I know, I understand. It's you should be able to hear it for sure. And yeah, no, I really I don't see myself as a what do you call it, like I can't, I don't shred on the bass, you know.
Yeah.
Like I try to keep, I'm the guy trying to keep it together, but I still like to add some sort of like drive tone to the bass to make to bring some like aggression or some power to the whole thing. But I don't play that many notes. But I like to the notes I play, I like them to, you know, take up like fill that space, because we don't have like a keyboard player or something like that to like I can. So sometimes I feel like my job is also to like if I put on like a fuss, or I can put these long notes that
Yeah.
sort of almost like a pad that
Yeah.
sort of keeps it like a steady ground. Yeah.
You're not the Billy Sheehan kind of guy when playing bass.
Well,
Sometimes when I listen to Mr. Big or whatever project Billy Sheehan is on, it's real for me to hear him just shred on the bass. And I'm
yeah.
like, yeah,
I like a bass solo, like if it's just here, like in a at a confined space. The vocals, I don't think the bass should be like messing with the space so much.
yeah,
Vocals should be front, like you know, more important.
yeah. And you were talking about the writing and recording the new record. The plans would be for next year for the album to be out.
Well, like thinking back at last album, how many times we had to postpone the deadline. I don't want to say anything. The only thing I know is that things take forever. Like you think, oh, it's gonna be fine. We can just record it. Like Black Sabbath recorded their first album in a day. Like let's go. And then there's always something like that you can't really foresee that comes in. Like, oh no, we have to wait. Like the pressing plant doesn't have time for you right now, and then you have to wait 6 months, or you know, there's always some bullshit. But I would love to put it out next year for sure.
Yeah.
That would be like that's what I want to do.
Yeah. Normally, how long does it take for you to record your bass parts?
Like, well, the last album I went in and I overdubbed all the bass in one day, and but it takes, I guess. But now, if I'm also like mixing it, or like if I'm trying to like, if it's up to me exactly how it should sound, I could do like 2 songs in a day maybe.
Thank you very much, Truls. I'm looking forward to see you on April 26th in Lisbon. All the best, and I'll see you in Lisbon. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.